Hello, beautiful friends and fellow word lovers. Welcome back to Pocket of Poetry. My name is Olivia. Today's video, we're going to be doing the reading habits tag. So I got the idea to do this tag from Steph's Book World. I'll link her channel down below. I know this tag has gone around on YouTube quite a bit, but I just thought it would be fun to answer some of these questions. Again, let you guys get to know me a little bit better and the habits I have while reading. This is going to be the last video that I ever film in this setup because we are about to move and I'm so excited, but a little bit bittersweet to say goodbye to like how I started. But yeah, I just wanted to give a little shout out to this cute little setup in the corner of my bedroom. And next time I see you guys, I'll probably be in a new place. So without further ado, let's jump into the questions. Question number 1 is, do you have a certain place at home for reading? The answer is not really. If I were to say I have a certain place, it would probably be this little nook right here, this chair. I do sit on this chair when I read a lot, but more often I find myself like on my bed or my couch. So it's kind of just wherever I feel like at the moment. I also like reading outside when the weather's nice, if I can. So yeah. Question number 2 is bookmark or random piece of paper. The answer for this one is really neither. I don't really use bookmarks ever, and it's kind of a terrible habit, and I wish that I used them more, but I swear, like, I'm just too lazy or just too disorganized. First of all, I don't even own any bookmarks. So if I do end up using an object as a bookmark, it's usually a random piece of paper or like a pen or just whatever I have on hand. I'll just like stick in. Sometimes I use my phone. Like, I know that's so disorganized, but yeah, I'm not the type of person that like collects things really. The only thing I really collect is books and like clothes, I guess. So I don't really have bookmarks, and I would eventually like to buy some cute bookmarks, but it's not like on the top of my priority list. So yeah, I just use random pieces of paper if I even use a bookmark at all. Most of the time I feel like I don't even use one, and I just like flip through and find my place, and I'm honestly just pretty good at finding my place without a bookmark. So yeah. Number 3, can you just stop reading, or do you have to stop after a chapter / certain amount of pages? The answer is I don't have to stop at the end of a chapter, but I don't like stopping in the middle of chapters, or like, you know, when chapters are sectioned off. I don't like stopping in the middle of chapter sections. That drives me crazy. I feel like it's so hard to find your place again. So I really don't like doing that. I mean, if there's like something going on that needs my attention and I'm in the middle of reading, like I can stop, but I don't like doing it. I do prefer to stop at the end of like chapters and sections. Question number 4, do you eat or drink while reading? Yeah, I do. I won't like sit down and eat a full meal while I'm reading. Like, that gets a little tricky, but like I'll eat a snack or something. Like if I have a snack that I can just like eat with one hand, or if I'm like drinking something like water usually, yeah, I can do that while reading, but I won't like sit and eat like a meal while I'm reading, if that makes sense. Number 5, can you multitask and watch TV or listen to music while reading? Definitely not watch TV. No, I don't get how people do that. I would be way too distracted. I don't know how you can even follow 2 stories at once like that. Like, no, I definitely do not do that. But when it comes to music, I can listen to music and read at the same time. I sometimes enjoy it. Like, it's sometimes nice to have like some background noise music while I'm reading. Usually I'll only listen to music while reading if I'm at work, because I've mentioned before, I do a lot of reading at work. I do have like a good amount of downtime in a day where I can read. So if I do, I usually am listening to music, because a lot of people around me can be loud and like have loud conversations, and so it's way more distracting for me to like hear someone's conversation than it is for me to hear music while I'm reading. So I'll turn on the music to like block other people out. So yeah, I can listen to music and read. Question number 6 is one book at a time or several at once. I would say several at once. Like, it obviously depends. Sometimes I'm reading one at a time, but I do like to be reading multiple books at once. I like to be reading like a variety of different books at once. Like, for example, right now I'm listening to Shadow of the Wind on audiobook, and I'm reading a poetry book. So it's like 2 very different vibes, and I can kind of go to one or the other depending on my mood. So I do like that. I like to be reading multiple things at once, especially since starting booktube and trying to like be more ambitious with the amount of books that I'm reading. I do enjoy reading more than one book at the same time. Question number 7 is reading at home or everywhere. I would say definitely reading everywhere. I'm pretty good at reading in public without getting distracted. Like I said, again, I read at work Like that's one of my main places of reading. So I definitely do read like a lot in, outside, at work. Like, if I ever take public transportation, I don't anymore. I used to. I would read on public transportation or like, in waiting rooms, things like that. Like, yeah, I 100% am that person who will like bring a book and read. Question number 8 is reading out loud or silently. This is where I kind of expose myself because I feel like I'm super weird, but I love reading out loud like so much. It's my favorite thing. Obviously, like I do read silently if I'm in public or like if I'm at home and like my husband's in the other room. Like obviously, I'm not going to disturb people by reading out loud, but I love reading out loud so much. Like if I'm by myself, I will read out loud, which I'm like super self-conscious about that because it's kind of weird, but I just love reading out loud. And I think the main reason why is because I love like saying the words out loud and experiencing them in that way. I feel like it's, first of all, it helps me like stay in my place in the story so much better. And it helps me follow the story so much better when I'm reading out loud. It makes it easier for me. And like if it's especially if it's a really well written book with like a lot of good vocabulary in it, I love just like reading the words out loud and just like listening to how they flow, because for me writing, the way that it sounds is just as important as the way that it looks, if that makes sense. Like the way that sentences sound when they're strung together. That's why I love reading poetry out loud and like spoken word poetry, because there's just something magical about when words are spoken out loud and like they flow nicely and they sound beautiful. Love that. I guess I did theater when I was younger and stuff, and like I've directed a few plays, and so I also like that aspect of reading out loud, kind of the more theatrical aspect, which is why I like, my dream is to be an audiobook reader. I think that would be so much fun. And like I also love reading out loud to my husband. Like we read books together and he'll like sit and do something and I'll be like reading to him. And it's just fun to like do voices for the characters and like kind of do acting like that. So anyway, I do. The answer is I love reading out loud. Obviously, I will read silently most of the time because most of the time I'm around people when I'm reading, but I do love reading out loud. Number 9, do you read ahead or even skip pages? So I do not skip pages. I think people that do that are crazy. Like I do not understand why you would read a book and want to skip ahead, or even like some people skip to the end and like read the ending. I don't get that, because first of all, how are you even going to understand the ending if you didn't read the book? Like how is it satisfying in any way to just read the ending without experiencing the whole story? Like I feel like you're not going to get a satisfying ending if you didn't experience the nuance and the depth of the entire book and the entire story. So I definitely don't get people who do that. When it comes to like reading ahead on a page though, my eyes will do this, especially if I'm reading silently. This is another reason why I like reading out loud, because when I'm reading silently, my eyes will just jump all over the page and it drives me crazy. Like I know some people will like cover the page to prevent themselves from doing that. I don't do that just because once I'm to that page, I like don't care that much. But it does drive me crazy sometimes because like my eyes will go down to the bottom and like, okay, nope, you got to go back up here. And then I feel like I end up rereading sentences multiple times because of that, and it really drives me crazy. But yeah, so like my eyes will skip ahead on the page, but no, I never skip pages. I never skip to the end. Like I kind of think that's blasphemous, honestly, because I feel like you have to experience the full story. Like that's the whole point of reading. And like I feel like it would just ruin it if you were to like read ahead and skip parts. I don't know. Number 10, breaking the spine or keeping it like new. I do not break spines on books. I like to keep them new. I like to keep them nice. Like if they end up having some wear and tear and like the spine cracks a little bit over time and love, I'm fine with that. I think books that look kind of older and well loved are actually very beautiful. There's something very beautiful about them. But when books are brand new, no, I do not break the spine. I try to keep them looking nice. I try to take care of them. Yeah, I don't break the spine. Although with going back to the whole bookmark question, I'm terrible at using bookmarks. So if I do have a paperback book, sometimes I will like lay it flat. I know that drives some people crazy, but like I'll lay it down like in my spot so I don't lose my spot. Last question number 11, do you write in your books? The answer to that is yes. I love writing in books. I love annotating. I love underlining, all of that, starring. Like I just love doing that. I don't always do it with every book, but especially if it's a really good book and I'm really enjoying it, I love to write and annotate. For example, I've been reading the collected poems of Sylvia Plath, and yesterday I read like the first. I actually did use a bookmark, guys. Are you proud of me? It's just a piece of paper, but still. I was reading the first section, and as you can see, I've like dog-eared a bunch of pages. I've been underlining things like crazy. I'm trying to like show you guys an example. Like I wrote like a little note in the margins here. Because the nice thing about this book is there's like huge margins, so you actually can write like good notes in the margins. And like I've been like starring poems that I really like I starred this one, and just writing thoughts and like underlining passages, and I've been having so much fun annotating the heck out of this poetry book. I feel like poetry is so much better enjoyed when you can like annotate and write and underline. I've also been putting little definitions to words. Like if I forget the definition of a word frequently, or if I like want to remember a definition, I've been writing it down in the margins as well. Like if I see a word I don't know. So anyway, yes, answer to that is I love writing in books. I love annotating. And I also love seeing other people's annotations in books. Like getting a secondhand book and seeing other people's notes in it. That's so cool. So anyway, that is the end of the Reading Habits book tag. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know down below if you think I'm super weird for any of my habits, or if you share any of these habits with me. Go ahead and also give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you feel like it. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.